What's poppin', guys? Back again with another video. It's your boy, Multiple Voice Guy. Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of my Child's Play ranking. Because, unfortunately my phone does not allow me to do the whole thing because it can't upload that long of a video. So when I do movie rankings, and if they have a lot of movies, I legit have to split the video into 2 parts. So guys, okay, so basically in part 2, I went over the movies I hate and the movies I find okay. And now, guys, we are finishing it off. We're in the top 4 now, and these are the films I actually like. So, how about we get it started, alright? So, how about we get it started with number 4. Alright, guys, and coming up in number 4, in 4th place, we have Child's Play 2. Now, I actually really like this film. Basically, I thought it was a pretty good way to do a sequel, and the fact that it was released 2 years after the first film, because the first film came out in 1988, and this film came out in 1990. The kills are great in this. The design for Chucky is great. And of course, we get Alex Vincent back as Andy Barclay, and Andy Barclay is really more of talkative. Well, not really talkative, but because in the first film his voice was kind of, I really don't know how to describe it, but basically he got better at talking in this film, in my opinion. And of course, yeah, and Chucky is just all over the place in this one. And also, I love the sibling relationship between Andy and Kyle. I think that's really sweet, like the foster sibling relationship. I thought that's really cute. And also, the fact that we have Chucky back with them one-liners, has a hanging Phil, and then just lets a dude fall, break his neck. Seriously, Chucky is just the king of one-liners. Him and Freddy, honestly. Yeah, like Freddy's just, Freddy. Ugh. Chucky's just priceless in this one. Alright, sport. We're gonna play a little game of Chucky Says. Chucky says, move your snap out of it! You act like you never seen a dead body before. Chucky's just perfect in this movie. I love it. Yeah. And of course, the defeat of Chucky. And of course, at the end, the ending scene, the climax at the factory, where he loses his legs. He has to have he replaces a hand with his knife, and also gets hot molten plastic poured on him and gets his head exploded. Child's Play 2, I just really like Child's Play 2, and that is why it's in my number 4. Oh yeah, and speaking of Child's Play, and now we're getting in my top 3, and taking the number 3 spot, we have the original Child's Play from 1988. Ah yes, the movie that started it all. Oh yeah, this film is a classic. I love it. I still loved it when I first watched it back when I was 10 and I was getting into horror films. And I still love it now. Seriously, the visuals are great. Yes, it kind of does take Chucky a while to come out into the spotlight. But basically, this is just great, honestly. Just the concept, of a serial killer transferring his soul into a nearby good guy doll so he wouldn't have to go to hell. And then the only way for him to come back is to transfer a soul into the first person he revealed himself to. And that is Andy Barclay. Wait. You mean the first person I let in on the fact that I was really alive? Oh, I don't believe it. The first person I let in on my little secret was a 6-year-old kid. I'm gonna be 6 years old again. Even though Chucky needs to really get better at phrasing. Well, John, I gotta go. I have a date with 6-year-old boy. Chucky phrasing! Hey, it was the 80s, alright? Cut me some slack. Yeah. But basically, And also, of course, the cast is just great. You know, Alex Vincent as Andy Barkley, Catherine Hicks as Karen Barkley. Yeah, her name was Karen before Karen stood for something very annoying. And Mike Norris, played by, I think it was Chris something, I don't know. I can't really remember his name. But yeah, this film is good. I love it. The first original Child's Play will always be a classic. And just the concept, like, even the greatest shots, like the voodoo kill, the scene where Chucky gets set on fire, and, you know, and then he gets his arm, leg, and head shot off, and then eventually his heart. Yeah. Basically, this film is great. And of course, there's that element like, is the doll really doing this? Or could the 6-year-old kid really be guilty of murder? Like, holy shit. So, yeah, that's basically why I love Child's Play, and that's why it's in my number 3. If I can do it properly. Oh yeah, okay. And coming up in number 2, we have Bride of Chucky. Now this film really changed stuff up a bit. You know, like, people could, like, basically after Child's Play 3, after we got done with the Andy trilogy, basically now we're in this where Chucky, like, there's no more Andy and Chucky's the star of the show. But of course, if we're not focusing on Andy anymore, then people could say what they want, but honestly, Tiffany was the best addition to the series. Like, seriously, we have Tiffany, played by Jennifer Tilly, who basically stitches back up Chucky and basically uses the voodoo chant to wake him up, basically. And I just love this film so much. Like, the concept, like, you know, like, Chucky and Tiffany are basically like doll versions of Bonnie and Clyde, and it's just perfect, you know. And of course, yeah, Tiffany, yeah, basically Chucky's partner in crime. You know, and she's pretty good. And yes, this is the movie where it started turning into, like, horror comedy. But hey, at least they don't focus on it too much like they did in Seed of Chucky. Good lord. But yeah, basically, I just love this. And just the dynamic of Chucky and Tiffany. What the... I need the exercise. Were you born with that knife super glued to your hand or what? What are you talking about? Oh, for God's sake, Chucky, drive yourself into the 90s. Stabbings went out with Bundy and Dahmer. You look like Martha Stewart with that thing. Who the is Martha Stewart? My idol. And what does Martha tell you to do when guests drop by for dinner and you haven't had time to shop? You improvise. Just the dynamic. And of course, that one scene that we will not talk about, that doll, scene. Yeah, I honestly feel bad. Bro, I honestly can't imagine how awkward it felt for the puppet, operators and the voice actor and actress, and for Jennifer Tilly and Brad Dourif during that scene. But yeah, I just still love it. This film is really good. And I'm glad they brought in Tiffany, because what was Child's Play 4 going to be about? Like, Jesus. But yeah, basically, I really love this film. It's a really good film, and I just love the dynamic, honestly. But, yeah, and basically the best way I can describe it, basically this movie, like, basically Chucky and Tiffany basically work like a doll version of Bonnie and Clyde. I just love it. But of course, my one real gripe about it, this is like my only real gripe, my only real problem with this movie, is that we have our two main protagonists, Jesse and Jade, who through the whole film accuse each other of murder, but are still down to get married. Like, what the Like, seriously, like, if you're accusing this person of murder, like, why are you even going to take the time to say, I do, and get married to them? I mean, yes, they do eventually find out the truth that it's Chucky and Tiffany, but come on! Like, seriously. Like, come on. And of course, also, oh, good lord, what was I going to say? But yeah, basically, but if you ignore that, Chucky and Tiffany, Bride of Chucky is a really good film. And also, this scene is just hilarious. Alright. What's that? The Heart of Damballa. What's that? An amulet. We need it to transfer our souls to human bodies. Okay, then where is it? I was wearing it around my neck the night those bastards gunned me down. It was buried with my corpse in Hackensack, New Jersey. Alright, let's go. Oh, sure. I'll steer and you can work the pedals. We're dolls, you dope! Even though he legit does the same thing with Glenn and Seed Chucky. I don't know. I'm not even going to question logic at this point. But yeah, number 2, number 2, Bride Chucky. Great film. I love it. Let's continue. Alright, and coming up in number 1, you probably all saw this coming. Yeah, but basically coming up in taking the number 1 spot, we have Curse of Chucky. Now, this, after Seed of Chucky basically disappointed Child's Play fans everywhere, Don Mancini realized his mistake and decided to give the fans what they actually wanted. And that's Chucky actually being scary. Basically, after Seed of Chucky, Chucky decided to, what, for the next film, which sadly never got a theatrical release, because this is really good, basically, he decided to go back to basics. And basically, we have Chucky, the design for Chucky is great, and the story that he has with the final girl, being an old friend of the family, is really good. And, of course, we get Nika, the final girl, Nika Pierce, who is legit the girl in the wheelchair, and the fact that she's played by Fiona Dourif, and the fact that Fiona Dourif is the daughter of Brad Dourif, and Brad Dourif is the guy who does the voice of Chucky. So, I can't imagine. So, this was really cool. But honestly, I can only imagine how awkward, how weirded out Fiona felt that she's legit talking to her dad through the doll. That must have been so awkward. But yeah, I still love it. The kills are great. Chucky, basically Chucky's back, and Chucky does not f around in this film. Chucky means business, and basically the movie is great. And of course, we can't forget that cool post-credit scene when Chucky's being sent to Andy's house, but Andy's prepared and basically just shoots Chucky right in the head. Play with this. Andy! But yeah, it's really good. But, so yeah, and that's why Curse of Chucky is in my number 1. Alright, and that's basically and that's basically the rest of it. So, do you agree with my list? Or do you think, or would you have these in a different order? Let me know in the comments, because, we're gonna, my list isn't the right list, it's just my list. These are just my opinions, so please don't hate on me if you have others, okay? We're gonna disagree, but that's the fun part. And you can even list your own personal, list down below, but please don't be a jerk about it. So, yeah, that's pretty much the rest of it, and until then, Chucky out.